We need to talk about this because the Minnesota Timberwolves may have just displayed the best way to build a championship contender in the modern NBA. They've got their guy in Anthony Edwards. They've got two really good bigs. They can guard on the perimeter and can guard inside. And then they just have a bunch of long, athletic defenders that provide elite ball pressure. And honestly, the good old days of the NBA are kind of coming back. In the NBA playoffs so far, it's been a race to 100 in most of these games. And with this Nuggets series, I don't see it being any different, especially with Jamal Murray, Reggie Jackson, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. They're going to have to do an exceptional job of taking care of the ball. The Suns, you saw their offensive numbers right there, and the Timberwolves shut them down for an entire series. Basically because they're the longest team in the NBA. They gave elite ball pressure. Their average height is 6'7". Taking a look at some of the length and athleticism they have on this team. Ant, 6'5" with a 6'9" wingspan. Rudy Gobert, 7'1" with a 7'9" wingspan. Dude is crazy. Rim protection, we already know this though. Cat, 7 foot with a 7'4" wingspan. Jaden McDaniels, 6'10" with a 7 foot wingspan. And then you also have guys like Kyle Anderson coming off the bench, Naz Reid, who are 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who was very underrated in that Phoenix series, 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan. The Timberwolves are loaded with perimeter defense, interior defense basically. Defense wins championships. It just shut down one of the best offenses in the NBA, and they will come to meet the biggest test of their season with the Denver Nuggets in this next series. As you can see here, they've also adopted the philosophy, lock up on the perimeter. If they beat you inside, just make them score over either Rudy Gobert or Karl-Anthony Towns, the two 7-footers they have down there, and Chris Finch and Tim Connolly, the coach and GM. This is going exactly the way they planned it all out. Of course, Connolly coming over from the Nuggets organization, so a little bit of a Tim Connolly bowl here. But let's take a look at some of the defensive masterclass. And we've talked about this before on the channel, but let's take a look at the defensive masterclass they just put on against the Phoenix Suns, led by Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I mean, he was everywhere in passing lanes. Absolute nightmare for the other team's point guard, whether it be Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, whoever it was. In the regular season, he only averaged 8 points a game with 2.5 assists and a steal in 23 minutes, but he stepped it up in the playoffs. He's played more and more. He took some of Naz Reid's minutes, and when you have Anthony Edwards on the perimeter defending like you just saw in that clip, that when the alpha male is doing it the most, that's when you're at your best. Again, you can see right there, they're locking up on the perimeter and just making you score over Rudy Gobert, which is a very daunting task. Here you have KD one-on-one with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker holds his own yet again. A guy that, in the passing lanes, getting steals, fighting over screens hard. And then you have Jaden McDaniels. Again, Nickeil Alexander-Walker isn't even the best perimeter defender on this team. They have Jaden McDaniels, who puts the absolute straitjacket on there. I mean, Nurkic had a wide open layup, and McDaniels versus 3 Hall of Famers in that series. Maybe 3 is a stretch. Brad Beal can probably make the Hall of Fame, though. They were shooting 29% when guarded by him. Again, you see this strategy. You got to score on Rudy Gobert in the paint, or you're not scoring at all. A trap right, that is a long trap right there. The Suns shot at 45% from the field and 33% from 3 in that playoff series, whereas in the regular season, they shot at 49% from the field and 39% from 3. So quite the drastic fall off. And hey, when Ant's defending at the rim, that makes it even tougher to stop. Ant has really locked in the playoffs and become a great defensive player. And I think we just also saw a changing of an era with Anthony Edwards going toe-to-toe with Kevin Durant and coming out on top. 26 points per game for Ant in the regular season, 5.4 rebounds, 5.1 assists, 1.3 steals on 46% shooting from the field, 36% from 3. But I think we just saw him really cement himself here in the playoffs. As a 22-year-old, he played 35 minutes a game, played in 79 games, so he was very healthy, very consistent. And in the playoffs, he has been even better. Again, matching up head-to-head against Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, he brought his guys with him, and playoff Ant showed up. 31 points a game, 51% shooting from the field, 43% from 3, 6.3 assists, 8 rebounds, and 2 steals. An absolute masterclass by Anthony Edwards, and it was the Game 1 statement that set the tone from the beginning. 33, 9, and 6 on 14 of 24 shooting from the field. Went off. And I'll admit it, I was wrong. I thought the Suns were going to win this series. Boy, was I wrong. I thought with, their 3 scorers, kind of like Devin Booker, I didn't really see how you could guard him. But pressure burst pipes, and with the amount of length and athleticism that the Timberwolves brought to the table, it was tough. All series long, it was really hard for the Suns to score, which is why they won in 4 games. Now, let's take a look at the playoff stats so far this year, starting with Jaden McDaniels, who's averaging 14.3 points, 5.3 rebounds on 50% shooting from the field. Not shooting it great from 3, but the defensive pressure is what you need from Jaden McDaniels, and that's why he's making so much money. Him and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, that is a duo right there. Rudy Gobert averaging 15 points, 11 rebounds, a steal, a block on 39 minutes per game. And the Suns really didn't want to challenge him at the rim, which is why he averaged less than a block a game when he was playing that drop coverage. Karl Towns really stepped it up towards the end of this playoff series. At the beginning, he was struggling with foul trouble, which Anthony Edwards loudly voiced his displeasure on. 19.5 points a game and 9.5 rebounds on 54% shooting from the field, 53% from 3 for Cat, making a statement. He's here to stay. Nickeil Alexander-Walker cooled down as this series went on, but 12.3 points, 2.8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, made his presence felt. Naz Reid only averaged about 18 minutes per game in this playoff series, averaged about 9.5 points per game, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and caused one of my parlays to not hit. Anyways, 42% from the field, 31% from 3. And again, in the regular season, he was very, very good for this team, averaging 13.5 points, 5.2 rebounds, 48% shooting from the field, and 41% from 3. But they went away from the 3 big lineup a little bit. He's really in there to give a blow to Cat or Rudy Gobert whenever they need one. But Nickeil Alexander-Walker and those other longer athletic wings that can guard on the perimeter better have taken some of his spots. Now, the considered weak links, I guess, Monte Morris, Mike Conley at the point guard position haven't even really been weak links this year. Mike Conley has been elite on both sides of the ball. Monte Morris, serviceable, more than serviceable backup point guard, but shout out to Mike Conley. He's getting up there in age, and he is still balling. Now, Denver might have a counter for this move. We saw Phoenix not really have an answer because they have 3 shooting guards trying to play point guard. But I think what Denver can do, instead of having, the offense, the iso ball offense that Phoenix ran, having Jokic be point guard and having Rudy Gobert guard him on the perimeter, would be tough for the Timberwolves to cover up. So that could be early on a potential counter that you have. But I am very excited to see the matchup inside with Gobert, the matchup on the perimeter with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Anthony Edwards, and Jaden McDaniels strapping up Jamal Murray. Overall, this should be a really, really exciting, really fun playoff matchup to watch. So if you are excited, make sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button, because we're going to be posting about this, posting about all the other NBA playoff series. So make sure you stick around for that. Also, leave me a comment down below. And if you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button.